Alright, so I uploaded the video a few hours ago. If you guys haven't seen that one, it's Dwarves for 10.4, and I did really well with that, but what I even like better is this one here. With Deathwish, we just didn't lose. Now, I played 5 games for reference, and this is sort of the outcome of the games. We have a cheeky little 2-0, but every other game was pretty comfortable, and we just made it happen. So I want to go over the deck here in some detail so you guys know how to play it and what to expect with how it rolls out. So we have the Haunt, which is a scenario. This is going to give us some consumes, right? So it's going to give us a Desert Banshee when we play this card, and then when we play our first Deathwish unit, we're going to get a Barghest, which gives us ultimately 2 consumes, and then when we play our second Deathwish card, we're going to get a Night Wraith. So it's 3 plus the 2 rats, and when we consume this, we get 2 more rats. So this is a really good point slam, as well as getting 2 consume engines with 3 consume total potential, right? So it's actually very strong. It's a very good swing. We can open around with it in round 1 if we really need to, or we could just bleed with it in round 2, or we could just play it in round 3. What's nice is that this is a little bit safer from a heat wave than other scenarios because we don't get a lot of value as we keep it on the board for longer. I mean, maybe off the engine Desert Banshee, because every time we play a Deathwish unit, it'll boost itself by 1. But if we anticipate a heat wave, for example, we can just hold this back to maybe the last 2 or 3 turns and just go about it that way. So I like it like that. Now, moving on to Vigo's Muzzle, the reason why I substituted my Heatwave out for Vigo's is because I didn't feel like Heatwave was going to be quite as good right now, just given the amount of artifacts that are going around and me having to choose one. So I just said, you know what, I'm not going to choose any of them. Maybe there's an important unit that would be a bit more of an impact, like an engine or something with an order that we can go ahead and take. And what's nice about the Vigo's Muzzle is that we also have the Maruna, and we have the Toad Prince, right? So Maruna is able to seize an enemy unit with 4 or less power on Deathwish. We have cards like the Abaya to proc this without having to consume it, as well as our Urn of Shadows. So we could potentially get 3 Marunas that way. And then we have the Toad Prince, which consumes a unit with 4 or less power, which we can use on the opponent's side of the playing field and take one of their engines away as well. So imagine having approximately like 2-3 Marunas, like that's a pretty big ceiling, then having something like the Toad Prince, and then having something like the Vigo's Muzzle. We're basically taking a lot of the good engines that they play, and I like it like that. For whatever we can't reach, I felt like it would be necessary to have a lock in the deck, so Deregere comes in because there's probably going to be something that we miss, or something that's outside of the ceiling of 4 points or 6 points, right? Maybe it's somewhere in between, 5 or 7, whatever the case. We have an answer to that as well. This is a healthy point slam too, so I don't regret putting it in the deck, and that's basically it. Whatever we take with Muzzle, we can go ahead and purify with Peller. Otherwise, we could take Peller offensively to get around a defender so that we can reach for something else with Muzzle, or whether it be Imler's Wrath, it really depends, right? And because Heatwave was a little expensive and I wanted Tall Punch still, I have the Imler's Wrath here. What is nice about it is that we're probably going to be able to get up to, give or take, 12 points because we have things like the Frightener in the deck. And of course, when Detlaf is consumed, for example, with like a Selenial Harpy, it's actually pretty tall, right? So we have good reach for removal with the Wrath there. You could opt for maybe a Becker's, but I just think that it has a higher point ceiling when we do something like the Wrath instead, right? So that's kind of the idea with the whole thing. Mushy Truffle is going to be a good carryover card. This deck has a lot of carryover compared to previous versions of Deathwish because, you know, Mushy Truffle has been something that I've been using since 9.6. I think it's great being able to get the Alchemy boost 3 adjacent units by 2, but also get one of the Selenial Harpies off of it, extra consume. The Bonded brings out another Harpy egg, so there's that synergy. Obviously, we can click the order as carryover, but then in addition to that carryover, we have the 2 giant toads in the deck, and this is probably so far in my top 3 favorite cards of the patch and the new card expansion. So deploy, consume an allied unit. When you play a Deathwish unit, summon Self from the graveyard to the same row, consume it again, and get doomed. So we don't have to float consumes. I don't have to play like Barghists and Barbagazis and Slizzards and stuff like that to make this deck work, because if we put these in grave by round 3, well then when we play a Deathwish unit in round 3, these will just come out, right? So we're getting 6 points of carryover here, 6 points of carryover from the Mushy Truffle, and we're getting instant procs on our, our Deathwish units. So if we go first into round 3, we can basically, or second rather, we can just put something like Rotfiend down and kill their engine right away, or put down Maruna and kill their engine, or take their engine right away, stuff like that. Either way, we can even open up with the Frightener if we go first, because it's a non-interactive play. The opponent might struggle to do something with it, right? If we're playing against like Deadeye Ambush, or we're playing against Skellige, or we're playing against Syndicate, like this could be something really good. Even Nilfgaard, because they can't really attack the artifact, and then we can just roll out our responsive plays after, like the Rotfiends, the Lock, the Toad Prince, the Wrath, like that kind of stuff. And when we do play these Deathwish cards, the Frightener's ticking down, right? So all we need is 3 consumes, and then it flips. And that's not even including what they destroy of ours. So I'm getting this every single time, and I really like it here. And it also helps increase the ceiling for the Wrath, so it works out really well. This is just my take on Deathwish, and I feel super comfortable playing this. It's a lot of fun to play too. When they see Frightener, they're extremely confused, but it has a place here. It makes a lot of sense in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. Talked about the lock. Abaya has Thrive, which is really good because every time we use the giant toads, like when we're playing them, it's consuming and proccing Thrive. Same with the Selenial Harpies. So those are both really good plays here. Detlaf comes down. There's a lot of cards that come down just at a higher base power than the Abaya as well. So we're going to get that thrived up a few times at least, which is nice. And obviously being able to trigger an allied unit's Deathwish ability could be something like the Maruna. It could be something like the Rotfiend, or of course it could be something like the Harpy Egg. So we have really good healthy options for Abaya that it always plays for its provisions, I would say, and sometimes more so. For example, when you take the Maruna and you take a really good 5 provision engine from them or something like that. So really good stuff. Selenial Harpies, of course, we're getting these deployed consumes. We're getting the bonded bonus eggs, and we're getting, even more so off the Mushy Truffle. So these have been one of my favorite consume cards to include in these types of decks, right? Since Truffle came out, basically. Rotfiend, I normally wouldn't play, but because Giant Toad is a card, then I like this card. I think if Giant Toad wasn't here, I probably wouldn't play Rotfiend, but just having that same turn consume is huge. And for that reason, I'm not running things like the Pred Dives or Ulcer's Thunder, or even like a D-Bomb or like a Natural Selection. We don't need that 4.5 point removal because we have it within this card. It's a special and a unit at the same time. And then, of course, we have answers to the other ones if we can't get them with the Rotfiends. Basically it. I want to make sure I'm pulling my cards. I don't have room for something like Oneromancy, and I don't think it's worth it here, so I put in 2 thinning packages here. So the Wild Hunt Riders, really good proactivity. It's not hard for us to get dominance. We could take this, we can get the thin early on in the game so that we pull all our golds later on. And we have the Archospores as well. Deathwish, summon another copy, so we have ways to basically consume that. And the consume to Deathwish ratio in this deck is superb. It's like spot on to what we need, and you'll see that throughout the games today. I'm really happy with kind of how it went, and I sat here for a good 20-30 minutes before I even played a game, just kind of playing a match in my head and just looking at where the consumes would come from and finding that sweet spot. So I'm really happy here. If you count really quickly though, we've got the 2 plus the 2 more is 4, 5, 6, and then we've got 2 off the leader, 3 off the scenario. So it's pretty good like that, right? And Truffle. So pretty cool stuff. I wanted to have some kind of tall punish as well, like a more inexpensive one. I opted to go for Spores. So now we have like an engine or tall punish removal. We've got a lock, we've got some seizes and stuff like that. And then we just have a Spores if they just boost something that's low provision and all we want to do is reset a base value, right? So that's kind of the idea here. And Pellar's here because we have Muzzle. I think that we can get really good trades if we go and muzzle something, purify it, use the order. That's kind of the idea. If we want to get around a defender to take something, we can do it that way too. If the only consume or something that we need, like let's say we float Maruna, we use like our urn, they lock Maruna, we could purify Maruna, and then we can consume Maruna after and still get that second effect. So it plays pretty well there. Some of the considerations that I would have for this would be, let's say, a squirrel, but I feel like you can't really fit Spores, Peller, and Squirrel. There's too many techs, so I feel pretty comfortable with the way it is, and I probably wouldn't change it at this point following the playtesting. And I think that this deck's actually pretty competitive. I mean, I played the 5 games, I won the 5 games, but I definitely think that this could take you to pro, and based on the experience, it shouldn't be that difficult. However, because I don't grind pro ladder, you know, once I get there that much, I just make content. I can't say how it would perform, like, as far as, like, peak MMR, but if one of you guys wants to really grind it and let me know, by all means, that'd be sweet. I'll give you a shout out in the video, highest MMR wins kind of thing. But I like it so far. I'll be playing this when I play Deathwish this season. And if you're looking for something to play that has Giant Toad and, you know, a little bit of the new cards and reworks, definitely give this a try. Tons of fun. And I will be back with another deck guide very shortly. There's a chance that I might have one out today, but latest will be tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, like I normally do. And if you enjoy the content that you see here today, don't forget to sub to the channel so you do not miss out on any of my new uploads. We'll see you soon, but for now, let's get into the gameplay. Alright, so we got Northern Realms inspired Zeal up first. I feel like a lock's going to be important in this matchup. I feel like also Detlef's pretty, I wouldn't say necessary in round 1. Watch we not get it again though. Let's see here. Can probably tuck back the Tall Punish. That's perfect to see. And then I think maybe one of the Harpy Eggs. There we go. Just because we have 2, we're going to get like another one. You know what I mean? So I'd probably open up with something simple. Commando's making a comeback, eh? Pretty simple. We can just print this card. It's kind of nice that we get both the Giant Toads early, because they will act as carryover, right? Maybe they're just using them to thin, it's hard to say. I feel like we're supposed to lock that, but I'm gonna wait. It's nice with the Abaya too, because the Thrive will proc when we use the Giant Toads like every single time. You know what I mean? I think I called it Toad Prince earlier, I'm just so used to saying it. Right? And then we'll just go 1 and 2. I guess they must have roped, right? Oh, this is deliberate. Maybe it's something I missed. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna get ignied. You see all the sixes? It's kind of scary. I'm just gonna bow out here. I actually didn't mean to do that at all. Okay, this is actually pretty good. The Frightener feels a little bit slow though if we have to, like, if we're gonna get bled, you know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna tuck it back for now, but then we can try and find it later. So we got most of what we need here. Obviously a few golds could be drawn. We have Nagelfar. We just definitely want Scenario, Maruna, and Detlef, I think. Actually, that's very good too. How many Deathwish cards do we have? We've got one. We'll look for Truffle. Okay. So Detlef and Truffle are there. I think what we're supposed to do is dunk this. Okay. It's going to be Detlef, I think we pull. So our opener is going to be, I suppose, just that. It's kind of nice that we get a turn to, like, just be a little bit uninteractive, and then what happens is we come in and we respond to what they're doing, right? That was kind of a slow Commandos play anyways. I thought about adding a Dwim. I'm not opposed to it, but I think that's just Toad Prince. Because we want to snag the other one with Order. The Peller does really nothing here for us. Yeah, it's got to be this at this point. Look at that automated service. It's kind of crazy. We'll keep this like that. It sets up a nice removal. We've got this engine going on here. We could probably take something like that. And then, actually, I see how it is. We'll take this here. And then we'll just purify it. It's a pretty good haze, though.
Lost spirit devoid of name, depart now our veil of pain.
course they have Scorch. Off the bombardment, we can actually get some points back, so maybe we don't consume it yet. That's the thing about patch week, is you never know what you're going to be playing into, right? We don't get a single hit on it. That's like the only engine. Yeah, I think we're just good with that. Now, we would have had the 12-point ceiling, obviously, for removal, but I think we're supposed to just hit that for points. This point, just in case, I want to keep those points, and then we'll just play Deathwish. So we should just win the game. Yeah, it's a little late at this point for that. There we go. And next up here we got Northern Realms again, and we got Pincer Maneuver. I think this is more of a round 3 play. I don't mind it round 1. We got the 2 consumes, the 3 consumes here. But we go first, and I have to set some tempo, right? Mushy Truffle's really nice. Thinning's nice. I think Maroon is too expensive and Deathwish are too expensive right now. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and play cards. Or I said Pincer Maneuver. I actually meant to say Mobilization. It's just been so long since I've seen it, right? Like actual full-blown.
Break something and I'll break something too. I'll break you.
I feel like that's just something you lock. I know that there's a deck going around right now centered around the bronzes. So they're just, yeah, doing the whole draw thing. I don't see a reason not to just... It's the whole deck. So I think what we're supposed to do is deal with these things quickly. We need 8. I guess it's all done, but... Now, the next play that I have in mind feels kind of slow. It would be to go down with like a Harpy Egg, for example. Actually, that's just really good. It's kind of hard not to take something like that, right? So we get the pass. Knickers comes out. That's fine. I don't know if we did the job we need to do yet. Like, it depends on how I pull. If we pull well, then there's a chance that we could play into this round. That's 1, 2, and decent. Let's put Peller back. Spores could actually be pretty good here. We've got a bunch of Harpy eggs coming down. Like, it's looking like Harpy egg swarm. But then again, we have Wrath. I think I'd just do that. Here, let's just try something. That's unfortunate. It might not even be like we push. It might just be we pass.
So many of them, I'd have to aim to miss.
Actually, that's just like a really good take, is it not? Let's get some extra points. We know they're 9 and under, which is kind of nice. And we just take out the defender, start working on that. I actually think we have a shot. Depends. It's really hard to tell here. Oh, we got it. And next up, we got Scoia'tael Guerilla Tactics here. I want to be on the other side of the coin, though. Lock feels important, that feels important, that feels important. This could be important. What's the play in round 1? We take a thin. We only have 1 consume. I need something I'm going to play down a bit harder. I'll dump Haunt. If they play an engine, we use Maruna, which is really good. Oh my gosh. 50-50. Actually, we get it 100%. It's not like it works the way we want it to work, but imagine.
Yeah, I work for the police. Better than working for humans.
And they didn't use the order, so it gets even better. They don't click it here, we'll probably just have to use, like... Okay, they do. $21 points. I don't want to commit too much, you know? Why don't we just go for the actual consume since we have it out here? I suppose I should have put that there actually for the extra point. It's 3 in the morning, you know? Not that it matters though. We got what we needed out of the way. I think taking that Saskia was actually huge, right? We'll see what we can do here. We kind of want some carryover with this whole thing. I think we dump... I'm expecting a defender. It's just kind of slow. Here, we'll put that back. We'll put one of those back, of course. I actually think that's fine. If they play an engine, we just go and we can toad that. Get a chance to fix the hand a little bit too. I think that's going to be a trap. Yeah. We'll just get a good trade on it. That's probably where we pass, right? There's not much I can do. Just have them use their leader. Yeah, that seems pretty good to me. 2 leader charges, whatever. We get a couple traps out of the way, so if they're running heavy traps, then we don't have to worry too much about it. And we can fix the hand a little bit here. It just sucks that Toad Prince, or Giant Toad, isn't going to be that great. In fact, we probably put one of those back. Hand looks good enough. I think we're supposed to go for Dettlaff soon, just because we don't want to start playing all these specials like towards the end. I think they're contemplating whether they should use a leader charge there. But yeah, I feel pretty good about just going Dettlaff. What? Alright, so another game where we go first. Let's see what we can do here. I want to try and get down these giant toads. See, I said it properly this time. The giant toads early on, round 1 would be kind of nice. This might actually be really good here too. I don't think Peller is going to be great. I've been lucky enough pushing back Dettlaff that I'm going to risk it one more time. I don't think Spores is going to be crazy here, so... Scenario. I think we have to do this so we can take round 1. $33.33. Yes. Streamer luck. Alright. Triple Mamuna. Or, I keep saying Maruna. I'm saying every card wrong today. We got Giant Toad, not Toad Prince. Maruna, not Mamuna. I kind of like how this coin has this sort of like ruby shine in the back. It's really cool. Just the way that the red looks on it. They gotta be frustrated at this point.
We will take back what was stolen.
Let's see. I feel like most of what else we do here is probably not what we'd want to do. You know what I mean? Like, we got the scenario out of the way, and we just played Maruna. The scenario and the Venedane. However, there's obviously a lot left. It's just like, I know that they could start cramming points, and I think I'd rather have the opportunity to defend. Especially when they get really cheap plays like that that are good value, right? I wonder what changed from their deck that they have, like, from last season to this one. 1, 2 brings out third. Wrath gets bad value here. So does Peller. Muzzle's really good for the Isengrim. Or even the Verno. Probably Isengrim though. So they try and bleed. It feels like a Toad Prince. But I don't think they're going to go further than this, you know what I mean? And I don't think there's a lot else to lock. So I'm trying to decide if I actually want to go Toad Prince or if I just want to use Deregere. And I think that that's probably the way to go about it. You see? And then we can just take this carryover. We've got, yeah, both of them, right? It's funny seeing other faction cards in our graveyard, but this deck does that a lot. Okay, this is nice to see, Frightener. We gotta be careful here. I think we're supposed to mulligan this, just in case we pull the other one. And I need Mushy Truffle. Like, it would be really nice to see. Got 1 Deathwish, 2 and 3. Might be one of those things, though, we don't want to risk it all. Except we do. Forget about it. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just start off slow, because a lot of the stuff I think they're going to be doing is damage-based. This works so well, though, because if they play an engine first, we take it out while contributing to Frightener. Just kind of makes it even harder for them, right? The odds get worse the longer we wait, but I think we still take... Why are they... Okay, good. Maybe they have Heatwave. The nice part about it is that we don't necessarily care because we've got other options, right? How many consumes we get? The 1, the 2. One and 2, 3 and 4, and then leader is the Deathwish. It's actually very smooth. I should stop stacking row. That's fine. I'm gonna stop stacking the row though, just because I feel like it might be a little bit of a risk, right? It's beautiful. We've got 1, 2 removal, technically 3. I kind of want to wait for them to boost stuff so that we don't miss. So, whenever you target with a special, we'll have to see how they're going to use this. Whenever you target an enemy with it, it's probably for waylays, right? Equal to the special's provision cost. So they're just going to have to go and start cycling back waylays, I guess. Or not even.
Act your age. At 2 centuries, you behave like you were barely shown us the way.
Trade's down though on all of these 3 by 1 point. I think we actually just... That's a lot of bleeding though if you think about it, right? One consume is there. I can't deal with 2 of them. We wait for the 6. I don't mind taking Toad Prince though. Actually, we can just do that. There's such thing as a defensive Toad Prince. Ah, okay, that's the plan. That's fine, I suppose. Because we've got 2 charges, you know? And 1 Toad Prince. I think what we're supposed to do is go Naglfar into... Like, we're not even guaranteed Deathwish, but Mushy Truffle would be fine too here. Mushy Truffle would actually be pretty good. Even if we can't use the order, right? It really comes down to what it is, so we don't have a choice. I think it's still enough points. They gotta do 15. Yeah, it's not enough. I actually messed that up with how I took my leader, but like to save on the bleeding. But at the same time, we didn't even pull Detlef, so it worked out perfectly. And you know, we could have got order on Truffle had we not taken the muzzle there. But again, it was enough of a lead that it didn't really matter. All right, so next up we got Tactical Decision, Nilfgaard, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. We've been lucky so far with our mulligans, like pulling some cool cards to start round 1. If it's Mill, we want to keep this. And I don't know yet if it's Mill. If it's Colgrim, we kind of want to keep the Peller. So these things kind of impact the way that we play the rounds. We've got, let's see, Abaya, that, leader that, this, that, consume. I think I have to put back Peller. Let's just see how things are. If it's Mill, I'm going to really regret this, but we'll find out. Oh my.
Here's our chance.
If I copy, like, if I take this, then they can make copies of it, yeah? Kind of something you don't want to have. Oh my, of course they have that.
We follow Lethos.
Why wouldn't they, right? Here.
Time to get our hands dirty.
They're getting some pretty good pulls. Let's have a look here. I think it's you know, Giant Toad. Yeah. There we go. Thrive, proc, and all.
Do not make me beg.
I suppose that's fine. It's a 6, though. We don't want to move a gold card to the top of our deck either, you know? And this is like kind of slow tempo. I think we're supposed to still play it. I think maybe if we take the Selenio Harpy onto that, it should generate enough points with the Thrive and then the 5 and the 6 that we can get out of the round just fine. But I do worry a little bit here that we're going to get kind of dummied. Yeah. Let's just have a look here. 36 to 11. 16. I think it would give them basically leader to get ahead. Leader Snowdrop. Guerilla. Frightener. That's not actually good for them at all. Let's just pass.
You'll never get my rhymes out of your heads.
Is it peace you desire? Prepare for war.
Let's see what they pull here, though. If they could pull it off, then maybe. But I do think they're going to have to play another card.
To water, my lord. Reflected at Coracan!
Actually, no, they have the Snowdrop order, too. $37.35 just barely does it. Do they keep milling, though? Nope. Alright, we're gonna put back the Archospores, we're gonna put back the Naglfar, like that whole thing. As quick as possible, too. That first. I think this might be a thing if they're playing Colgrim. Yeah, Naglfar goes back for sure. Really wish I would have had Muzzle here. Muzzle's going to be like a win condition, I think. At least if we're like even a card or two down and we have Detlef and Leader, it's pretty huge. We never take the Thin, right? I think we just play this. Teleportation doesn't really work like that.
You will not regret this, good sir.
Oh yeah, because they can create... Yeah, I see what they're doing.
Here's our chance.
We don't want to split... We don't want to play a special card from our deck. We really don't. And they know that too, which is kind of the nice part about what they're doing. We're up for points though. It's still that. Okay, that's a good mill for us. If I don't want to get bled... Actually, we do take that. I'm just worried about, like, only having... You know what? I don't think it matters.
Such a shame, I must leave.
I think we're just supposed to do that. And we have a good Spores here, too. Sure. We probably just purify. Let's see. You know, I don't think we do because Spores gets better. I think we actually try and get the carryover here. And if we draw all our cards, we just win, right? If they can't, even if they do mill us again, like, I think if we get these two, we just win. Or one and two, who knows? That's gonna be Deregere. Yeah. It's gonna be Peller here. We'll play around to Vincent or whatever, take Spores next turn. It should just be enough to win the round, I think.
Don't make me laugh.
Actually, we know it's Colgrim, that's the problem. Actually, if it's Colgrim, it doesn't matter. Look how many... Yeah, they're thinned so hard. So they get their card back, but that's about it. And they don't even win the round. doesn't even get them up. It's 4-3. We're playing against Mill and we have card advantage. And they've let us. We'll just jam scenario and take it. Seeing the Nova is quite nice, actually. And I think as soon as we can take the muzzle, we just do it. Right? Just in case they boost something. Something like that's actually really good. But, actually, I can probably wait a little bit longer than that. Let's not go too tall just in case they have punish. We do lose a point doing it this way, but we keep dominance for the second consume. We could do that last turn.
The senses can be fooled easily. There's nothing worse than
Yeah, we're just good. I'm just gonna play for a lot of points.
Long live the Emperor!
Like, look at this. We take this here. We get the other consume. And then we take... Did they quit? Oh yeah, no, they had 13. That's right. I couldn't take that because we didn't have dominance. Either way,